else want to have it.
Here's my audience. Have you ever wondered what your future children might look like? Have you ever wondered if they might inherit your eye color or the fact that your spouse is left-handed? Have you ever worried about a disease that has ripped through your family generation after generation? Well, thanks to a huge international research project called the Human Genome Project, those questions and many other no longer have to go unanswered. While the purpose of this project stretched much farther, situations like this are what make this project truly unique. Every person on Earth could benefit from this and gain knowledge. It has become a moral and ethical debate, however, with fair arguments on both sides of the fence. What happens when people use the information gained from this project to abort a fetus based on potentially negative traits that it could inherit? Are employers and insurance companies allowed to discriminate based on a person's biological makeup? Any endeavor deemed the Apollo lunar landing of biology is sure to be a double-edged sword. But before thinking about all of this, you must first understand what exactly the Human Genome Project is, their goal, and how it affects you. So let's start from the beginning. My goal is to get you a good basic understanding of the Human Genome Project, and by doing this I'm going to cover 3 topics. The first is going to be the background of genetics, the second is going to be the Human Genome Project itself, and then the third is how it could potentially affect any one of us. So what exactly is a gene? The human body is an extraordinary thing. We as humans are composed of over 10 trillion cells. In the center of each cell is a nucleus, and in the center of each nucleus there are 46 chromosomes. Each chromosome is just a large strand of DNA, and there are about 100,000 genes in a set of 46 chromosomes. Genes are the subunits of chromosomes, and they are responsible for your genetic makeup. They're what give you your eye color, any genetic diseases that you might inherit. And then DNA is composed of 4 nucleotides. That would be your C, G, T, and A. And the order of the nucleotides tells the cell what proteins to make, deciding the structure and function of each cell. A genome, as in the Human Genome Project, refers to all of the genetic makeup in a chromosome of an organism. In February of 2011, Francis Collins noted that the genome could be thought of in terms of a book with multiple uses. It's a history book, a narrative of the journey of our species through time. It's a shop manual with an incredibly detailed blueprint for building every human cell. And it's a transformative textbook of medicine with insights that will give healthcare providers immense new powers to treat, prevent, and cure disease. So a little bit of background in genetics. Well, first I'll show you. This is just an example of some of the traits that you can inherit as far as your eye color, your hairline, how your thumbs are, detached or attached earlobes, the ability to curl your tongue. There are many different traits that you could inherit, but that's all based on your genetic makeup. A little bit of history in genetics. It all started with Mendel. Mendel was trying to uncover the principles of breeding when he began experimenting on pea pods and how genetic traits are passed on from generation to generation. Through his research, he discovered that each parent pod passed on one set of genes to the offspring. Scientists weren't even interested in DNA at that time, however, until James Watson and Francis Crick came along and they discovered the structure of DNA. And then Frederick Sanger and Walter Gilbert took it a little bit further, and they were the first to experiment with the human genome by taking this information and using it to try to play God to create new life forms. After the discovery by Watson and Crick, however, scientists everywhere started to try to unlock the secrets of the human genome. And actually in 1988, for the first time, DNA was used to try to catch a killer. So scientists were already following genetics way before the 1990s when the Human Genome Project first came about. The Human Genome Project is a $3 billion international project, and it has one goal, and that goal was to identify the location and functions of all of the genes in the human body. It began in 1990. It was supposed to be a 15-year project, but they actually ended it 2 years early in 2003. Based on technology, they were able to get it done a lot quicker. It was coordinated by the U.S. Department of Energy and the National Institutes of Health. If successful, mankind could begin to steer our own destiny away from diseases, aging, and death. We could start to be in control of our own fate, fighting inherited genes and undergoing preventative treatments, possibly even finding cures and cloning. When asked what are some practical benefits to learning about DNA, the HGNIS replied, "Knowledge about the effects of DNA variations among individuals can lead to revolutionary new ways to diagnose, treat, and someday prevent the thousands of disorders that affect us." Besides providing clues to understanding human biology, we can also learn about non-human organisms. DNA sequences can lead to an understanding of their natural capabilities that can be applied towards solving challenges in healthcare, agriculture, energy production, and environmental remediation. Some of the interesting things that they learned through this, according to an article published by the Sanger Institute, were that there are between 30,000 and 40,000 genes in the human genome, and some of the previous estimates have been around 100,000, so that was definitely interesting to them. Most of the mutations occur in males, and they also stated that understanding how the body works is dramatically increasing due to the Human Genome Project knowledge, and understanding how we evolved as human beings is being rapidly advanced through genetic archaeology. So some of the pros and cons for us, what it means for us. Some of the pros are that we started to discover more than 1,800 disease genes. There are now more than 2,000 genetic tests available. And with genetic testing, you can go and see what your risks are for getting an inherited disease, and then also treatment options. Some of the cons are more with insurance is a big one. A lot of insurances will discriminate based on pre-existing conditions. And also the loss of human diversity due to things such as designer babies and people being able to pick out what their children will look like. So in conclusion, I hope you've learned a little bit more about the Human Genome Project and what it has done for us. And although it is completed, there's still a lot that we can learn from it. They're still discovering new things every single day. And then there are other projects that are starting to come out of it. So no doubt it's going to affect every single one of our lives. So thank you for watching.